Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Full Arch Masters podcast. We're here on day 4, day 3.5, I would say, of our March 2023 course. And we are finishing up, and we're having a session today with our administrative all-stars. I'm going to call you guys admin all-stars.
Yes.
Because you guys are the all-stars that set the stage for success in an office where you're doing full arch dentistry. So just go around the room and just tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name's Maria. I'm with Dr. Mantina. He's in El Dorado Hills. Been with him for a few years now. Had to speak here.
And well, yes, and so welcome, and I hope you had a good week. We'll come back to you in a sec here.
I'm Nicole. I'm with Dr. Panaton in Omaha, Nebraska. Been doing this together for 22 years.
Awesome. Perfect. My name is Anna. I also work with Dr. Mantina. I'm his office manager at his El Dorado Hills location. And I've been with him for about 7-8 years now. And I'm Brittany Baker. I'm with Dr. from Lexington, Kentucky, and we've kind of started this process about a little over a year ago.
And my name is Lori James, and I work for Dr. Brad Harmon, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky as well, and I've been with them for 4 years.
And we are joined by Patty, who is our admin lead for Full Arch Masters, and you ladies have been spending a lot of quality time with her this week and with some of our other people. So, Patty, what was your experience this week, and what would you like to ask them?
Yes, so this week has been amazing, sharing the week with all of y'all and being able to share a lot of our systems that we have in place and have standardized for our practice that has helped us grow our full arch process here with Dr. Dunlop. So I was happy to share the week with you, and I would like to ask you a couple questions. The first one pretty much is, what were your expectations coming into this course? Did you have a set expectation before you got here for the modules that you were going to be joining in on?
We'll start with Seth.
I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for your time. But I think what I'm taking away the most would be just some systems in play. Like, I like how you all print out your treatment process and how you present it. So I think I'm taking away a lot of learning on how to present a little bit better. And I liked what you showed me. So thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have any expectations coming in, but I definitely have learned a lot. Just the way that you guys do your consultations to the end, I definitely will utilize a lot of that in our office. For me personally, Dr. Mantina prepared us pretty well, so I did have some expectations going in, but same as with the other ladies here, we did learn a lot, and there is a lot to implement for our front office.
That's good. No, I really, there that I had expectations of what to expect from Mark and talked a lot about coming. He was really excited about being here. I think the thing I'm going to take back the most is learning how your treatment coordinators, more than your clinical folks, spend a lot of time with patients. We probably do that the other direction more. And I like the intimacy and the relationship building that you guys have really developed here and hope to take.
Right.
I really like, I didn't really have expectations coming in here, but like she said, Dr. Mantina prepared us very well. But I really like the part that the treatment coordinator spends, a lot more time with the patient than, per se, you have your private room, the financial part, just spending, because I believe that's where the icebreakers with most patients, just getting them through that financial bridge to make it affordable for them.
Yeah, it's an awkward conversation sometimes.
It is very awkward, yes.
And you don't want to be seen as the money lady.
Yeah, right. So coming in early to those consultations has been key for us in increasing our closure rate for full arch cases, especially because it's a very difficult decision to make for the patients. It is a huge decision, and it's also an investment for them. So us being able to dedicate that time specifically to the patients is what helps the patient feel comfortable and build trust with us in order to move forward. Okay, thank you for that. The next question I would like to ask, specifically, if there's something that you are going to be taking away from this course and implement in your practice, let's say Monday when you get back. Is there something already on your list, your to-do list to do with your team when you get back?
Let's try on this.
Okay. First thing on the list is going to be to get set up with all the financing companies. All right. Right now, we only use Care Credit, and Care Credit doesn't do much for us then when it comes to dentures. But yeah, signing up for all those. financial opportunities and following up with the ones that are waiting to hear back.
Yeah, it's very important to be creative, right? When you offer financing to your patients. Yes. Yeah.
And down the front.
For me personally, yes, the financial aspect, but I really did, what really stuck with me was the way when the new patient comes in first, when you get that first lead, that's literally copying directly what you had discussed with us, implementing it directly as in how the patient heard about us, exactly, filtering out.
Yeah, vetting your calls from the first call. Gotcha. Yeah, very, very important in helping to set up the doctor and the treatment coordinator for when they do come in for that first visit.
Okay. And I think my biggest thing is the patient advocate. What Jackie does, I learned a lot from her to show my patient advocate. So I'll be using your new patient, which I loved as well, with all the information that it really is a team effort with that. So I need her to bring that information that I can take and already have a conversation ready with that patient. So I think my biggest thing is that, and then the call rail to kind of help me know where those calls from. So those two things will be my first two top priorities. Kind of take back.
Valuable.
I think my biggest thing will just be to define some roles in our office. I feel like I wear a lot of different hats, and I can't really give a good enough amount of my time to do treatment planning like it needs to be done. Right. So I definitely need to figure out who I can delegate some of those other tasks to.
Yes. Yeah. And just know that you're not the only one that has had to face those obstacles.
Speaking from personal experience.
Yes, a little bit. Yes. And, it just takes this time, right, to realize, hey, I can't really do all of this on my own. And let's bring somebody else in and have your training set up in a way that you can bring somebody else in. Doctor's going to trust the other person because you're the one training them and handing over certain tasks, right? So that you can free yourself up to be able to meet with those patients. So that's another important topic that we discussed during the course to help doctors help us help them, right? Okay. And then
Very similar to what these ladies said, we're going to probably restructure the way we receive new patient calls and make sure that those are more specific and answered in a more specific, concise way. And then our new patient process that we're using right now. Change that.
Awesome. And the next question is, you're present here today. How important was it that your doctor actually included you in this particular training? There tends to not be a lot of front office training. Doctors do a lot of clinical training, lab training, and sometimes we forget about our front office training as well. So how important do you feel it was to bring you as a key team member to the practice?
Start back now.
As somebody that's been doing this for 22 years with my husband and the dentist, it starts with us.
Right.
And like you guys have very well shown, that in order for the dentist to be successful, there has to be patience in the chair. And that starts with the first phone call. That starts with the person that greets them at the front door. And so including us in the process validates the importance of the roles that we all play.
Good point. I pretty much agree with her. It's pretty vital. I feel like I've gone to some other conferences with them, but it's been much more clinical. This definitely has been a great asset that I think that will help kind of get that flow going for our clinic that we really need.
And I agree. I liked just having this small, intimate setting to learn from you guys. So that made a big impact. And I would say that I think the more that we learn on the doctor side, like I loved that I got to come and watch the surgery with Dr. Dunlop. That was like amazing. The first thing I did after I left that day was like, I called my husband, was like, this has been the most amazing thing that I've ever got to do today. Because I always try to go pee right a little bit and learn like the process and what like you all do to see, so I can be able to answer questions more thoroughly with my patients. And I think that it plays a big part in for them to trust you and building that relationship with them. So that was my biggest thing that I love. So thank you.
When we hire a treatment coordinator for my practice, they spend a couple weeks or a couple months sometimes in clinic with me first.
That's like the dream. That's a dream for us. Freaking word.
Yeah, I literally, that's how I started, just watching him. He would talk me through the process as he's also training assistants. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening. This is what the patient's feeling. I just learned the process through watching, right? And like you said, now I'm able to explain it to the patient very specific.
So as you delegate more, you'll have more time to do those things that you need to.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, big things to come for us, I think.
Can't wait.
Yes, 1,000%. This was definitely worth it. In fact, as well as training and delegating to other TCs around networks, it did help a lot for me personally. Very
Okay. I'm excited to be here. I'm happy that I got invited to this. I was dragging it at first, but I'm glad I came. I learned a lot from you guys. I was expecting a bigger group, and it was nice to see a smaller group. I was asking questions and all that, so I'm really thankful that I'm here. And learned a lot. That I'm gonna
Happy to have you. All right. Just our last question. So if you know of somebody that's thinking about attending the course and kind of being like, well, what's my part? What am I going to do there? What would you tell that person as far as this course goes?
It's very helpful. Come. You learn a lot. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And, from people are like the most important. For me, I think it's the most important person in the practice just because that's the connection between your patient and your doctor.
Right. It's the engine. I always tell Patty that front office is the engine of your organization. And if you guys provide the fuel for the engine to run. And so, obviously you need wheels and you need, all kinds of parts to an engine, but if without fuel, nothing goes. And you guys provide the fuel to a practice, to an organization. So what would you say to somebody sitting out there?
I've been to a lot of class years. The thing that I really like is guys are actually doing this. You're not just sitting back telling people what you think that they should do. You're actually doing it. And so the opportunity to not only listen to you, but to be around what's happening was invaluable. And it was really neat. And for you guys to talk about the things you've tried and didn't work is really valuable as well. That you haven't necessarily, it's not perfect. And that's a really neat thing to let us see. And watching you guys learn and listen to you guys learn along the way has been a really neat experience.
And what I would say, definitely come to this course. Then if, like for myself, the process, you can kind of explain it to the patient, but there's always something new that you can learn, even from the clinical side, marketing.
Yeah.
And I definitely need to come. I've learned so much. There's things that I even thought that I was doing good, or, there's always ways that we can bounce ideas. Lori and I, we've only lived about an hour away from each other, so we are always bouncing ideas. Yeah, so it's always good to just kind of revamp. And I do love the fact that it's much smaller. It's very hands-on, and I feel like that's kind of the key where I learned probably the most for me. Even not just this area, like I got to see some surgical things and kind of put some of that to play too, so I can understand that process.
Yes.
Well, you got a chance to work with Patty, who's amazing in her own right, but to put a course together like this of this caliber requires a huge team. We've got the AV team, we've got the lab team, clinical, and then I have a whole other team that's running my clinic and keeping that going while this is going. What would you like to say to the team that put all this together for you this week?
Oh my God. Thank you for letting us walk through and kind of seeing that journey like of each patient. So I think that was the biggest thing for all of us, is just being somewhere that we can see it in action. Like learning it and seeing it on a screen is different, but being here at Full Arch Masters, it was like, I got to see this patient. I got to walk through and see what you do. And I think that makes a big difference on how we learn. I guess that's the way I learn. I like to see it, walk through it, and like your notes and how you do that. So yeah, that's my biggest.
Yeah, and also you get to meet other people, share ideas, bounce off ideas, and that's the connection through this course too.
Treatment coordinators for medicine.
Gotta reach out.
Admin all-stars. Anything to the team you want to?
I would just say a big thank you for all their hard work. I really appreciated being here, and just, we asked so many questions across the board, and I felt like they were answered very well. I took the time out, even if we asked the same question multiple times, there's no bad answer.
So I appreciate all that hard work. Yes, same thing, a huge big thank you. Like everyone said, I was expecting, a bigger group, but it felt a very nice, very intimate mass, anything. And I feel like I definitely learned a lot. So a huge thank you to you.
And it was incredibly well organized and put together, down to the food was amazing.
Yeah,
I were of the crap.
Take home.
I know, but that feel was fantastic, and I also have the best playlist ever. So even the little unexpected things.
Yeah, it's always the little things. Yeah.
Well, thank you for putting it together and sharing all the knowledge with us. A lot.
It is a lot. And you guys did great. I mean, I wasn't in the room, but we talked all day, every day after hours. And I know that you guys did an amazing job. And we have a lot of groups that come through this course. And I know that you guys are all above average and you're all going to excel. So congratulations. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts too, coming and spending a week away from your family.
I'd like to role play with bed.
Thank you, ladies.
It's tough.
Let's do it. Fires me up.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Groupwish.ft. Oh, yeah, I did the deal about this time.
A little sign up. You want to
Sign up. I'll watch you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Full Arch Masters podcast. We are here live in Fresno, California, March 2023 with our admin all-stars. You guys did an amazing job. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch out for more podcasts coming in the future. How'd you feel about the week?
Amazing. I'm excited to have finished up the week with y'all, and I'm excited to see everything that's to come for you and your practices. So good luck, and we're here for the rest of the ride. Thank y'all.